The death of a loved one is a sad affair for no matter what century we live in. This is a shared experience that we as humans have felt for millennia. One of the things that is done in the 18th, 19th century, and even centuries before, is the giving out of mourning rings. And these rings help to commemorate the life of an individual, whether it's a friend or a loved one. Around the rings, oftentimes they have the name of the individual who has passed away. It will also give you the date of their death, and oftentimes it is abbreviated OB or obit for the death of the individual. And then on many rings that are in our collection here at Colonial Williamsburg also gives us the age of the individual, abbreviated as AE or EVM. So we know on this ring the gentleman who passed away was 68 years old. This ring here, another English ring here in our collection, very simple, little skull and crossbones filled in with a little bit of enamel, the black that you see around it, was for a young man, we presume a man, D. Coney, who passed away really at the tender age of 17, a very young child who this ring commemorates. But as we move into the United States, we have sort of a new method of mourning, or a new need for mourning, and that's mourning important individuals who founded the nation. Tobias Lear was President George Washington's private secretary, and he collected the hair that you see underneath the bezel of this ring while Washington was in his coffin, as he records it in his diary. He then has it braided with Martha Washington, who passes several years later, and created into the mourning ring you see here. And then last but not least, sort of a more perhaps commercial mourning ring for the passing of President Washington. This piece was created by two French immigrants who came to the United States, and it's made in two different pieces. Underneath the glass bezel here is a little tiny print made by a man named Saint Memem, and then the jewelry part aspect of it was made by another French jeweler by the name of Chadron. These were made in Philadelphia in several different styles, and they survive in collections across the United States, but this was actually worn and given to no other than the Marquis de Lafayette, and descended through that family until it came here to Colonial Williamsburg. Mourning rings were given out to not only the passing of spouses, but friends and other loved ones, individuals that you may have worked with. But as the 18th century comes to a close, we find that individuals aren't necessarily allowing the money for these expensive pieces to be passed out any longer. But the process of mourning, the practice of mourning, still continues well into the 19th century and today.